Let's talk about plastic, not the kind in the recycling bin, the kind that's overflowing in recycling. Cans in your beach vacation photos and stuck in waterways across the country.
Yeah, you know, as we're approaching Earth Day, a time people around the country look for ways to make a difference. We want to talk about ways that we can create some lasting action.
Yeah, here to discuss what you can do to help is oceanographer and environmental activist Philippe Cousteau. Good morning to you, Philippe.
Martina, Susan, good morning to you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, you know, most people are trying to recycle, but you say the system is failing. Why?
Well, it's true. 8 out of 10 Americans, you know, they do recycle. People care about this issue. We read about the plastic pollution crisis in the news almost every day, it feels like, right? Nanoplastics, microplastics, plastics in our brain, plastics in our rain. It's a big problem. And I spent my life exploring and protecting the ocean, and I've seen plastics from the Arctic, Antarctica, the deep ocean, the surface, and everywhere in between, which is why I'm here today. And unfortunately, a lot of the plastics that we put in those recycling bins don't end up actually getting reused. Now, that's not to say recycling is important. It is, but the system isn't working the way it should.
It's also interesting to talk about, especially this week in particular. But Philippe, talk about some simple, powerful ways, what we can do to reduce that plastic in our homes and really in the communities, at work, anywhere.
Well, certainly there's simple actions that any of us can take. At home, for example, we stay away from single-use plastics. We use reusable water bottles and reusable bags at the grocery store. That's a big one. Billions of plastic bags every year are thrown away needlessly after using them for just a few minutes. But we need also systemic change, right? We need to fix the recycling system in this country. And so I partnered with SC Johnson and the Join Zuzu movement in order to help advance federal legislation that can help fix the recycling problem in this country.
Yeah, talk about this, the Zuzu movement. I hope I said that the right way.
You did. So Zuzu is the story of this amazing hermit crab that uses plastic for its shell. Oh. And so the story of Zuzu reminds us that the recycling system has a long way to go in this country. Now, typically, it's always been kind of the consumer that is expected to recycle, and again, more than 80% of Americans do recycle daily. But unfortunately, as I said, a lot of that doesn't actually get reused. It ends up in landfills or the ocean. And so what the join Zuzu.com, you can go, and consumers and the public can actually be part of advocating for federal legislation. It's called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility Legislation, that requires everybody to play their part, in particular the producers of plastic, to take responsibility for the life cycle of that plastic. I don't think anybody can argue with that. So that the plastics that are being manufactured and created and the systems to recycle them exist, so the consumers are confident that this works. Now, some states do it. We need a federal approach to create a level playing field so that every corporation has to play by the same rules. And in British Columbia, they did this not too long ago, and their recycling rates went from less than 10% to more than 75%. So we know EPR legislation works. We need it at a federal level, and the Zuzu movement is all about advancing that kind of national scale.
Wow. Also interesting. We're learning a lot here today. So where can we go for more information at home if we do want to learn more?
So go to joinzuzu.com. It's a simple action every single person can and should take right now. On your phone, you can sign the petition, make your voice heard. This is a problem that is a very real problem, but the good news is we can fix it. We have the tools. We know how to do it. And companies like SC Johnson, Conservation International, Earth Echo International, my organization, we're all coming together to say, wow, everybody has a role to play. We need to take collective action to scale solutions at a national level to fix recycling. And if we do that, good things will happen. And that's the good news. A lot of bad news in the world today. This is some good news. We can fix this broken system.
Yeah, starting out simple things we can all do. Philippe, thanks so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.